Be me, Carolyn, 28, marketing executive. Always been passionate about equality and women's rights. Spent years explaining to people how men have it easier in literally everything. Especially dating, men can just approach any woman. They're not judged on looks as harshly, they don't get harassed. Meanwhile, women have to deal with creeps, objectification, impossible beauty standards. Pretty confident in my worldview. TBH. Then my younger brother Jake moves back home after college. Jake's 23, about 5'9", works at some accounting firm. Decent guy. Always been kind to everyone. Never disrespectful to women. But he's average, average face, average build. Drives a Honda Civic. Starts talking about how hard dating is for him. Rolling my eyes internally. Jake, you're a man. You literally have every advantage. Just be confident. I am confident, Carolyn. But I barely get any matches. And when I do, he shows me his phone. Tinder, Bumble, Hinge, the works. I'm expecting to see him being picky or having a terrible bio. His bio is actually pretty good. Mentions his job, his hobbies hiking, reading, looking for something serious. Photos are decent quality. He's smiling, looks approachable. Jake, you probably swipe left on tons of great women because you're only going for tens. Carolyn, look at this. He shows me his swiping. I watch for 10 minutes. He's literally swiping right on almost everyone. Women I would consider average, below average, some significantly overweight, not being shallow, just trying to get any matches. See, I swiped right on like 50 women just now. Check back an hour later. 0 matches. That's weird. Maybe his profile needs work. Jake, let me help you optimize this. Spend the weekend completely redoing his profile. Better photos, wittier bio, the whole works. He seems hopeful. Week passes. He got 2 matches. One immediately unmatched when he said, "Hey, how's your week going?" The other sent, "Hey" back, and then never responded again. Starting to feel bad for him, but still think he's doing something wrong. Maybe you should try approaching women in person. That's more authentic. I have been trying that too. Decide to see what he means. Go to a coffee shop with him on Saturday. He spots a woman reading alone, around his age. Walks over, polite smile. "Excuse me, I hope I'm not interrupting, but I noticed you're reading Murakami. I love his work. I'm Jake." She looks up with this expression, like he just asked her for money. "I'm reading." Doesn't even look at him again. He says, "Sorry to bother you," and walks away. Okay, that was kind of rude of her, but maybe she was genuinely busy. Later that day, different coffee shop. He approaches another woman, even more polite. "Hi, I know this is random, but I couldn't help but notice your camera. Are you a photographer?" She literally gets up and moves to a different table without saying a word. What the fuck? Starting to feel uncomfortable watching this. Jake, maybe. Try a different approach. What approach should I try? Honestly, don't know what to tell him. Over the next few weeks, I start paying more attention. He's genuinely kind to everyone. Servers, cashiers, random people. Women seem to like him as a friend, but the moment he shows romantic interest, it's like a switch flips. One of his female co-workers talks to him for hours about her relationship problems. When he finally asks her to coffee, "Oh, I don't really see you that way." She continues venting to him about guys the very next day. This is getting weird. Decide to create a fake male profile to see what online dating is like for average men. Use photos of a guy who looks similar to Jake. Average height, average face, normal job. Copy Jake's bio approach. Holy shit. After 200 swipes, 3 matches in a week. 1 unmatches immediately. 1 never responds. 1 responds with K to every message until I give up. This can't be normal. Create another fake profile with a very attractive male model. Same bio, same approach, just different photos. 50 matches in 1 day. Women messaging first with paragraphs. Inviting him out immediately. Offering to pay for dates. Wait, what the fuck is happening? Start researching online. Find studies showing that women rate 80% of men as below average in attractiveness. Men find a normal distribution of women attractive. Women get 100 times more matches than average men on dating apps. The average woman gets more likes in a day than the average man gets in months. Feeling like my world is tilting. But maybe it's just dating apps. Those are shallow anyway. Decide to observe Jake's real life, dating more closely. He finally gets a proper match, who agrees to meet. Woman named Lisa. Seems nice over text. He's genuinely excited. First real date in months. Takes her to a nice restaurant. Nothing too fancy, but definitely not cheap. I happen to be at a nearby bar. Okay, I may have followed them. Sue me. Watching from across the street. He's animated, asking questions. Clearly engaged. She's on her phone half the time, barely touching her expensive meal that he's paying for. After dinner, I see them outside. She's already calling an Uber while he's mid-sentence. Thanks for dinner, I'll text you. She doesn't text him. When he texts her 2 days later, she blocks him. Jake finds out through mutual friends that she told people he was boring and desperate. She literally sat there texting other guys during the date he paid for, starting to feel sick. Few weeks later, Jake has another date lined up. Woman named Rebecca. They'd been texting for a while. He drives 45 minutes to meet her at a place she chose. Waits for an hour. She never shows up. No text, no call, nothing. He drives home alone and finds out later she posted Instagram stories of her at home watching Netflix. She just didn't feel like going. What kind of person does that? Watching Jake's confidence slowly crumble over months, he starts second-guessing every interaction. Was I too eager? Too boring? Not tall enough? The height thing especially gets to him. Overhear him on the phone with his friend. She seemed into me until I stood up. I could see her face change when she realized I wasn't as tall as she thought. This happens multiple times. Women who seem interested over text, engaged in early conversation. The moment they meet in person and see he's 5'9" instead of 6'+, it's over. One woman literally says, "Oh," when she sees him and checks her phone for emergencies all night. Another makes a joke about how her heels make her taller than him. Why is height such a big deal? I've never thought about this. Jake starts wearing boots that add an inch, then slightly thicker boots. Watching my confident, kind brother become insecure about something he literally cannot change. Meanwhile, I'm 5'6" and have never even thought about a guy's height unless he was dramatically shorter. But apparently, that makes me an exception. See Jake matching with a woman who's 5'2". Her bio literally says, "Don't bother if you're under 6 feet. She's shorter than me," and eliminating 85% of men. What the actual fuck? Start noticing this everywhere now. Short women demanding tall men. Average-looking women only swiping on male models. Women with no hookups in their bios matching with obvious fuckboys. Jake shows me conversations where women ask his height, salary, car. When he asks about their job or interests, he's being invasive. The double standards are insane. 3 months into watching this nightmare, Jake gets a match with someone who seems genuinely cool. Emma, she's a teacher, loves hiking, seems down to earth. They text for weeks, really connecting. She agrees to meet for a casual lunch. Jake is more excited than I've seen him in months, actually gets a second date. Thinks he's finally found someone who appreciates him for who he is. Third date, she opens up about her ex. Shows Jake photos. Her ex is literally an unemployed guy with face tattoos who she says treated her like shit. But he was 6'3" and really hot. She keeps comparing Jake to him. You're so much nicer than Marcus. But. That but hangs in the air. Jake tries to be understanding, supportive about her past. 2 weeks later, she gets back together with Marcus. Texts, "You're such a great guy. You'll find someone perfect for you." She literally chose the unemployed asshole who made her cry. Jake is devastated. I'm starting to get angry at the world. My brother is kind, employed, respectful, emotionally available. Women keep choosing men who treat them terribly over him. And somehow, this is his fault for not being attractive enough? Decide to test something. Convince my friend Rachel to go on a blind date with Jake. Rachel's always complaining about how men are trash. She meets Jake. Texts me later. He's really nice, but there's no spark. Ask what that means. I don't know. He's just normal? Like he'd probably be a great boyfriend, but I'm not attracted to him. What do you mean normal? What's wrong with normal? Nothing's wrong with it. It's just not exciting. I want someone who makes my heart race. Rachel proceeds to date a guy who shows up drunk to their first date, then another guy who makes her pay for everything, then complains to me about how men are trash. The cognitive dissonance is insane. Start paying attention to my other female friends. They all have the same pattern. Ignore or reject the decent guys. Obsess over men who barely text them back. He's so mysterious and confident. No, he's just not that into you. But Jake, who texts back promptly and plans thoughtful dates, is desperate. 5 months in, Jake starts talking about giving up. Maybe I'm just not meant for this. I see guys who treat women terribly and they have girlfriends. I try to be respectful and kind, and I can't get a second date. He's losing weight, sleeping poorly. His work performance is suffering. I never realized dating rejection could be this psychologically damaging. Overhear him on the phone with our dad. I don't know what's wrong with me. I must be fundamentally unlovable or something. My heart breaks. There's nothing wrong with him. The system is just completely fucked. Decide to have a conversation with my most brutally honest female friend, Jessica. Jess, be real with me. What would you think of a guy like Jake? Describe him honestly. He sounds nice, but nice doesn't make me want to sleep with someone. What does? I don't know. Danger? Excitement? Someone who seems like other women want him? So you want someone who's probably going to treat you badly? Not treat me badly, just not be too available. Not try too hard. But if a guy doesn't try, you complain that men don't put in effort anymore. Watch her brain short-circuit in real time. That's different. It's not different. Women want men to try, but not too hard. Be interested, but not too interested. Be available, but not too available. Meanwhile, men are just supposed to magically know where these invisible lines are. And if they guess wrong, they're either boring or creepy. No wonder Jake is confused. Month 6. The final straw. Jake matches with someone who actually seems compatible. Maria, she's an accountant too, shares his interests. They go on several dates. She seems genuinely interested. Jake is cautiously optimistic. They start sleeping together. He thinks maybe he's finally figured it out. Maria starts acting distant. Turns out she was dating multiple guys the whole time. Chooses the one who's a personal trainer with abs. Tells Jake, I really like you as a person, but I need more physical chemistry. This guy has no job, no education, no shared interests with her. But he's hot, so nothing else matters. Jake comes home defeated. Carolyn, I give up. I'm just going to focus on my career and hobbies. Jake, you're only 23. You'll find someone. Will I? Because it seems like unless you're in the top 20% of men physically, you're invisible to women. And I'm clearly not in that 20%. I want to argue, but I've seen the evidence. He's right. Spend the evening thinking about everything I've witnessed. Jake getting rejected hundreds of times for things he can't control. Being ghosted by women who wouldn't even qualify for the treatment they're giving him. Watching women choose awful men over him consistently. His mental health deteriorating from constant rejection. The impossible standards and contradictory expectations. Start thinking about my own dating life. I've always had options. Multiple guys interested at any time. When I was single, I could get dates easily. I rejected plenty of decent guys because they weren't exciting enough. Never thought about how that felt from their perspective. Assumed they'd just find someone else easily because men have all the advantages. Holy shit, I was so wrong. Start researching more. Suicide rates for young men. Depression statistics. The correlation with dating struggles. This isn't just about dating. This is about human worth and dignity. Jake isn't just failing at dating. He's being told by society that he has no value. Every rejection reinforces that he's not good enough. Meanwhile, I've been lecturing people about male privilege. What privilege? The privilege of being invisible to women unless you're exceptionally attractive. The privilege of being seen as a walking wallet. The privilege of having your entire worth determined by things you can't control. Jake is living in hell and I never knew. Most average men are living in hell and society just doesn't care. We actually mock them for struggling. Incel has become a slur for any man who points out these problems. But Jake isn't hateful or entitled. He's just tired. Tired of being rejected for not being tall enough. Tired of being ghosted after spending money on dates. Tired of being told he's not good enough by women who aren't good enough for him. Tired of watching women choose men who treat them badly over men who would treat them well. And if he complains about any of this, he's entitled and misogynistic. Meanwhile, women can write entire articles about how men are trash. The double standard is staggering. Decide to write a social media post about what I've learned. Just trying to show some empathy for struggling men. Maybe we should acknowledge that dating is really hard for average guys too. Immediate backlash from female friends. Not all men. Why are you centering men? This is internalized misogyny. Men don't need more sympathy. But I've watched my brother suffer for 6 months. Seen him question his entire worth as a human being. Watched him become depressed and isolated. How is acknowledging that centering men? Delete the post. But can't delete what I've learned. Start noticing things everywhere now. Commercials, mocking men for not being good enough. Movies where the average guy gets the girl only after proving his worth somehow, but the attractive guy gets her immediately. Dating advice that amounts to just be confident. As if confidence can overcome a woman's complete lack of physical attraction, Jake decides to join a gym, try to improve himself. Good for him, but also heartbreaking. He shouldn't have to transform himself to be worthy of basic human affection. 6 months ago, I would have said, good, men should work on themselves. Now I see it differently. No woman would be told she needs to completely change to be worthy of love. We'd call that toxic, but we expect it from men. Few weeks later, overhear Jake on a video call with friends. They're all sharing similar stories. Hundreds of rejections, ghosting, being used for free meals. One friend hasn't had a date in over a year. Another hasn't been in a relationship in 3 years. These aren't bad guys. They're just average. And average isn't enough anymore. Women have unlimited options now, through dating apps. Why settle for average when you can swipe until you find someone exceptional? Except the exceptional guys are sleeping with multiple women. They're not looking for relationships. So women get used by the top-tier guys and completely ignore the relationship-ready guys. Then complain that all men are players. It's a completely broken system. And somehow, it's men's fault. Jake starts seeing a therapist for depression. I feel responsible for not understanding sooner. How many conversations did we have where I dismissed his struggles? How many times did I tell him he just needed to try harder or be more confident? How many times did I imply his struggles weren't real because he's a man? Decide to have a real conversation with him. Jake, I owe you an apology. For what? For not believing you. For not understanding how hard this has been. He looks surprised. I spent the last 6 months watching your dating life, and I had no idea men faced this level of rejection and dehumanization. I tried to tell you. I know, and I dismissed it. I thought men had all the advantages, and you were just making excuses. We talk for hours. He tells me things I hadn't even seen. Women who matched with him just to promote their Instagram. Dates who brought friends without warning. Women who insulted his car, his apartment, his clothes, being treated like a convenience store, useful when needed, ignored otherwise. The worst part isn't even the rejection, Carolyn. It's being made to feel like I'm wrong for wanting companionship. Like wanting a relationship makes me pathetic. That hits hard. Since when did men wanting love become pathetic? When did kindness become boring? When did treating women well become a negative trait? Start questioning everything I believed about dating and gender. Maybe male privilege exists in some areas, but dating isn't one of them. Maybe average men are actually the most disadvantaged group in modern romance. They have to compete with social media validation, dating apps giving women endless options, unrealistic beauty standards from porn and movies. And if they struggle, they're told to shut up because they're men. 6 months ago, I was that person telling them to shut up. Now I see how cruel that is. Jake is doing better in therapy. But he's basically given up on dating. I'd rather be alone than keep putting myself through that. He's 23 and has decided relationships aren't worth the psychological damage. How many other young men are making the same choice? And what happens to society when average men just opt out? Realize I need to completely reassess my views. Maybe the gender dynamics I thought I understood are more complicated. Maybe men face real struggles that I was blind to. Maybe my privilege as a woman in dating made me ignorant to male suffering. Decide to research what dating is like for average women. Create a fake female profile with average photos. Holy shit. 500 matches in one day. Men of all types interested. Many offering to drive hours to meet me. Offering to pay for everything. Being genuinely kind and respectful in messages. The difference is staggering. I had no idea the privilege I had. Average women have what attractive men have. Average men have what unattractive women have. Except unattractive women still get more attention than average men. The bottom tier of men gets literally nothing. Now I understand why Jake was so frustrated. He was living in a completely different reality than me. One where his worth as a human being was constantly questioned. Where basic affection was a rare commodity. Where kindness was seen as weakness. And I was lecturing him about male privilege. The irony is painful. Decide to speak up more about men's struggles. Not because I'm anti-feminist now, but because ignoring half the population's pain isn't equality. Start pushing back when friends mock men for struggling. Maybe we should listen when men say they're hurting. Get called a pick-me girl. Get accused of betraying feminism. But watching Jake suffer changed me. Empathy shouldn't be gendered. Pain shouldn't be gendered. Jake deserves love and compassion regardless of his gender. Average men deserve better than the hell we've created for them. 6 months ago, I thought I understood dating, thought I understood gender dynamics, thought men had it easy. I was so fucking wrong. Jake is one of the good ones. Kind, respectful, emotionally available, financially stable. And he's been treated like garbage for months, while women chase men who treat them badly. The system is broken, and pretending it isn't doesn't help anyone, especially not the Jakes of the world, who just want someone to love them back. Is that really too much to ask? Apparently it is. If you're an average man in 2023, welcome to hell. Population, most men, and I never knew.